Before you start listening to this recording, be sure you read along. You can find a link in the description. Creating a website is an exciting experience, but it's even more thrilling when your website is live and accessible to everyone online. In this article, we will guide you through the process of hosting your website. We'll cover the steps needed to register a domain name, choose a web hosting service, and finally get your website online. We'll also explain how to upload your files to the server so that your website can be accessed by anyone. Registering a domain name. The first step towards having an online presence is choosing and registering a domain name. This is the unique address where people can find your website, such as yourwebsite.com. We will discuss how to select an appropriate domain name and how to register it through a domain registrar, choosing a web hosting service. After registering your domain name, you'll need web hosting. Web hosting is a service that provides space on a server to store your website files. We will discuss different types of web hosting, such as shared hosting, VPS hosting, and dedicated servers, so you can choose the best option based on your needs. Uploading your website. Once you've set up your domain name and web hosting, it's time to upload your website files. This can be done using an FTP client or through the file manager provided by your web host. We will explain how to do this step by step, ensuring that your website goes live. Registering a domain name. Having an online presence begins with choosing and registering a domain name, which is your website's unique address on the internet, such as yourwebsite.com. Below, we'll guide you through selecting an appropriate domain name and the steps involved in registering it. 1. Choosing an appropriate domain name. Reflect your brand. Your domain name should reflect your brand, business, or personal identity. It should be easy to remember, spell, and pronounce. For example, if your business is called Greenleaf Landscaping, a domain name like greenleaflandscaping.com would be ideal. Keep it short and simple. Shorter domain names are easier to type and less prone to typos. Aim for a name that is concise and straightforward, avoiding complex words or unusual spellings. Choose the right domain extension. The most common extension is .com, but there are many others, such as .org, .net, or industry-specific extensions like tech or shop. While .com is widely recognized, other extensions can be used creatively or when the .com version is unavailable. Avoid numbers and hyphens. Numbers and hyphens can make your domain name harder to remember and more difficult to type. Stick to letters if possible. Check for availability. Before settling on a domain name, ensure it's available. You can check its availability through a domain registrar or a WHOIS lookup tool. Consider future growth. Choose a name that allows room for expansion. Avoid overly specific names that might limit your website's content or services in the future. 2. Registering your domain name. Once you've chosen an appropriate domain name, the next step is to register it through a domain registrar. Here's how you can do it. 1. Select a domain registrar. A domain registrar is a company authorized to sell and manage domain name registrations. Popular registrars include GoDaddy, Namecheap, Google Domains, and Bluehost. Compare prices, customer support, and additional services like privacy protection or email hosting before selecting a registrar. 2. Search for your domain. Use the registrar search tool to check if your chosen domain name is available. If the name is taken, the registrar will often suggest alternatives or allow you to bid on the existing name if it's up for sale. 3. Register the domain. Once you've found an available domain name, follow the registration process. You'll need to provide some basic information and choose the registration period, usually 1 year, with options to extend. During registration, you can add privacy protection to hide your personal information from the public WHOIS database. 4. Complete the purchase. After entering your details and selecting any additional services, complete the purchase by paying the registration fee. Prices vary depending on the registrar and the chosen domain extension, with typical costs ranging from $10 to $50 per year. 5. Verify ownership. After registration, you'll receive an email to verify your ownership. This step is crucial for activating your domain. 6. Set up your domain. Once verified, you can set up your domain by linking it to a web hosting service, creating email addresses, or redirecting it to an existing site. Conclusion. Selecting and registering a domain name is a fundamental step in establishing your online presence. By choosing a name that reflects your brand and registering it through a reliable registrar, you can secure your spot on the web and lay the foundation for your online activities. Choosing a web hosting service. After securing your domain name, the next crucial step is selecting a web hosting service. Web hosting provides the space on a server where your website files are stored, allowing your website to be accessible online. There are several types of web hosting available, each catering to different needs and budgets. Here's an overview of the main types of web hosting to help you choose the best option for your website. 1. Shared hosting. What it is. Shared hosting means your website shares a server with multiple other websites. This is a cost-effective option, especially for beginners or small websites, as the server's resources, CPU, RAM, bandwidth, are divided among all the sites hosted on it. Pros: affordable, shared hosting plans are typically the cheapest, making them ideal for small businesses, personal blogs, or hobby websites. User-friendly, most shared hosting plans come with easy-to-use control panels like cPanel, making it simple for beginners to manage their sites. Maintenance: the hosting provider manages server maintenance, software updates, and security, so you don't need technical expertise. Cons: limited resources. Since resources are shared, your website's performance may be affected by high traffic on other sites. Less control: you have limited access to server configurations, which might not be suitable for advanced users or websites with specific needs. Security risks: if one website on the shared server is compromised, others could be at risk. Best for small websites, personal blogs, startups, or any site with low to moderate traffic. 2. VPS, Virtual Private Server Hosting. What it is: VPS hosting provides a virtualized server environment where a single physical server is divided into multiple virtual servers. Each VPS operates independently with its own dedicated resources, which means better performance and control than shared hosting. Pros: dedicated resources. You get a portion of the server's resources allocated specifically to your website, leading to more stable performance. Scalability: VPS hosting is easily scalable, allowing you to increase your resources like RAW or EPU as your website grows. More control: you have greater access to server configurations and can install custom software. Cons: cost: VPS hosting is more expensive than shared hosting, though cheaper than dedicated servers. Technical knowledge required. Managing a VPS may require some technical expertise, especially for configuring and maintaining the server. Best for growing websites, e-commerce sites, or businesses that need more resources and control than shared hosting offers. 3. Dedicated server hosting. What it is: dedicated server hosting provides an entire physical server exclusively for your website. This offers maximum control, customization, and performance, but at a higher cost. Pros: full control. You have complete control over the server's configuration, software, and security settings. High performance. Since you're not sharing resources, your website can handle high traffic and resource-intensive applications with ease. Enhanced security. The isolation from other websites reduces security risks, making dedicated servers ideal for sensitive or high-traffic sites. Cons: expensive. Dedicated servers are the most costly option, suitable only for websites with significant resource needs. Requires technical expertise. Managing a dedicated server requires advanced technical skills, or you'll need to hire someone to manage it. Best for large businesses, high-traffic websites, or those needing custom server configurations and high security. 4. Cloud hosting. What it is: cloud hosting uses a network of interconnected servers to host your website, ensuring that if one server fails, another takes over. This setup offers high reliability and scalability. Pros: reliability. Since your site is hosted on multiple servers, it's less likely to experience downtime. Scalability. Cloud hosting allows you to easily scale resources up or down based on your website's needs. Pay as you go. You often pay for only the resources you use, making it cost-effective for fluctuating traffic. Cons: variable costs. Costs can be unpredictable, especially if your site experiences sudden traffic spikes. Complexity. Cloud hosting can be more complex to manage than traditional hosting options. Best for websites with variable traffic, growing businesses, or those requiring high availability and reliability. Conclusion: choosing the right web hosting service depends on your website's size, traffic, technical requirements, and budget. For beginners or small sites, shared hosting is a cost-effective choice, while VPS for cloud hosting is ideal for growing businesses needing more control and scalability. Dedicated server hosting is the best option for large, high-traffic sites that require maximum performance and security. Uploading your website. After setting up your domain name and web hosting, the next step is to upload your website files to make your site live. This can be done using an FTP file transfer protocol client or through a file manager provided by your web host. Below will guide you through the process step by step. 1. Preparing your website files. Before uploading, ensure all your website files are organized in a clean and structured manner. This typically includes HTML files, the core content of your website, CSS files, style sheets that define the appearance of your website, JavaScript files, scripts that add interactivity to your website, images and media, all the images, videos, and other media files used on your site, folders. Organize your files into folders, e.g., images of audio, for easier management. 2. Using an FTP client. Step 1. Choose an FTP client. FTP clients are software applications that allow you to transfer files from your local computer to your web hosting server. Popular FTP clients include WinSCP, CyberDuck, and FileZilla. Download and install the FTP client of your choice. Step 2. Connect to your web server. Obtain FTP credentials. Your web host will provide FTP credentials usually found in the control panel or via email. These typically include FTP server, the address of your web server, e.g. FTP yourwebsite.com, username, your FTP username, password, your FTP password, port. Typically the port is 21 for FTP. Open your FTP client, launch your FTP client, and enter your FTP credentials. For example, in Windows host, enter the FTP server address, username, enter your FTP username, password, enter your FTP password, port, enter the port number, usually 21, then click Quick Connect. Step 3. Upload your files. Navigate to your web root directory. Once connected, navigate to the web root directory on the server. This is typically called alias. This is where your website files should be uploaded. Transfer files. On the left side of your FTP client, you'll see your local files, and on the right, the server files. Drag and drop your website files from your local computer to the web root directory on the server. Step 4. Verify upload. After the transfer is complete, open your web browser and enter your domain name, e.g. www.yourwebsite.com, to verify that your website is live and functioning as expected. 3. Using a file manager. If you prefer not to use an FTP client, most web hosting providers offer a built-in file manager in their control panel, e.g. cPanel+. Step 1. Access your web host control panel, log into your hosting account, and access the control panel. Look for the file manager tool, usually found under the Files section. Step 2. Navigate to the web root directory in the file manager. Navigate to the web root directory of alias. 3. Using a file manager. If you prefer not to use an FTP client, most web hosting providers offer a built-in file manager in their control panel, e.g. cPanel+. Step 1. Access your web host control panel, log into your hosting account, and access the control panel. Look for the file manager tool, usually found under the Files section. Step 2. Navigate to the web root directory. In the file manager, navigate to the web root directory of alias. Step 3. Upload files. Use the upload feature to select and upload your website files from your local computer to the server. You can typically upload multiple files or even a compressed zip file, which can then be extracted on the server. Step 4. Verify upload. Once the upload is complete, check your website by entering your domain name in a web browser. 4. Final checks. Test your website. Visit your website and navigate through all the pages to ensure everything is working correctly, including links, images, and forms. Fix errors. If you encounter any errors or missing files, revisit the FTP client or file manager to correct the issues. Enable backups. Set up regular backups through your hosting provider to ensure your files are safe. Conclusion: uploading your website is a crucial step in making it accessible to the world. Whether you use an FTP client or a file manager provided by your web host, the process is straightforward and can be completed in just a few steps. By following this guide, you can ensure that your website goes live smoothly and is ready for visitors. Troubleshooting FTP upload issues. If you encounter issues while uploading your website to your server using an FTP client, it's important to address them promptly to get your site online. Since each hosting provider may have different configurations and requirements, contacting your hosting provider for support is often the best course of action. Here's what to do if you face problems during the upload process. 1. Common FTP upload issues. Connection problems. You might have trouble connecting to the server, often due to incorrect FTP credentials, firewall settings, or server issues. Slow transfer speeds. Sometimes the upload process is sluggish, which can be caused by network issues or server load. Permission errors. You may encounter permission-related errors that prevent files from being uploaded or overwritten on the server. Timeouts. The connection might time out, especially if you're uploading large files or the server is experiencing high traffic. Incomplete uploads. Files may not upload completely, leading to missing or corrupted files on your website. 2. Steps to troubleshoot. Check FTP credentials. Double-check your FTP host username, password, and port number to ensure they are correct. Use passive mode. Some servers require passive FTP mode. You can enable this option in your FTP client settings. Disable firewall antivirus temporarily. Firewalls or antivirus software can block FTP connections. Try disabling them temporarily to see if it resolves the issue. Test with another FTP client. If you're experiencing issues with one FTP client, try using a different one to see if the problem persists. Reduce file sizes. If large files are causing issues, try compressing them before uploading or upload them in smaller batches. 3. Contacting your hosting provider. If you've tried basic troubleshooting and still encounter issues, it's time to contact your hosting provider. Provide detailed information. When reaching out, provide as much detail as possible about the issue, including error messages, the FTP client you're using, and any steps you've already taken. Ask about server-specific settings. Your provider might have specific settings or requirements, such as using a different port or server address, that differ from standard configurations. Check for server-side issues. There could be server-side problems, such as maintenance or unexpected downtime, that are affecting your upload. Your provider can inform you of any ongoing issues. Inquire about alternatives. Some providers offer alternative methods for file upload, such as using their file manager SFTP or a web-based upload tool. Conclusion. Experiencing FTP issues can be frustrating, but with some troubleshooting and support from your hosting provider, you can usually resolve these problems quickly. Since hosting providers operate differently, contacting them for guidance is often the most efficient way to get your site up and running smoothly.